brainchild of Masahiro Sakurai, who also created the Kirby series, which I didn't find out until after Melee was out for a few years. I feel like a dunce. What started as an unsanctioned prototype for a fighting game on the N64 that had nothing to do with any flagship Nintendo characters transformed into a huge money-making franchise once Sakurai got the idea to make it a Nintendo All-Star slobber knocker, with Satoru Iwata helping on the programming side of things. In 1999, the final result came to be known as Oh yeah! Positively electrifying. All of these games, no matter the system or mechanics, have brought me many fond experiences in some shape or form, and there's just no way I can give these games in-depth reviews without some sort of bias. This video was mostly about my personal history with the franchise, rather than a methodical examination, so if there's anything that I gloss over, like what I think about this character, or my thoughts on this character making over this character, or this very, very specific thing, I don't mean this out of malice, I just don't want this video to be as long as my Sonic 06 review. Let's kick back and take a stroll down memory lane starting right here on the Nintendo 64. This fucking commercial, I loved it so much, but I hated it too. Late 90s, I was all over the TV watching cartoons, and every time this popped up, I was reminded of the console I didn't have at the time. No hard feelings, PlayStation, you did your job fine enough. The idea, the very concept of everyone's favorite Nintendo characters gathering around to fuck each other up was awesome. And what a time too. I was heavily into the fighting genre with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but now I can get Mario to pummel Donkey Kong for kidnapping Pauline. I can get Samus to take on Fox for the next bounty. I was over at my cousin's house one night to play some games and whatnot, and there it was, a Nintendo 64 with Super Smash Bros. Nestled securely into the cartridge slot. I was so excited, and when I finally got to play it, I absolutely sucked balls. Smash Bros. Was unusual. There was no health bar, only a percentage meter that built up as you dished out the pain, and the objective was to knock your opponent off the stage to score a point. It was something like a fighting game that also had platforming components. Fighters could jump up to 2 times and have other means of recovery just to stay on the battlefield. Stages were often bizarre in their composition, living shoutouts to the games they represented, and some of them could contain dangerous hazards that both players would have to consider while duking it out. Items would appear out of thin air to give players something to level the playing field with, from a laser gun, a Pokeball to summon an assisting Pokemon, to a baseball bat that can instantly knock someone out with great control. There were only 2 attack buttons, one for special moves and one for regular melee attacks, and I can grab my opponents and give them a hefty throw for some real distance. If I wanted to try different things, it wasn't a matter of doing a quarter circle forward motion along with an attack, it was combining my special and attack buttons with directions on the analog stick. But it wasn't even that simple, there were also different results when I held a direction and pressed an attack button, compared to pressing the direction and the attack button at the same time. Those were the biggest hurdles to jump over, to learn that Super Smash Bros. Wasn't like any other brawler in the genre, and how to properly adjust to it. But once I learned how Super Smash Bros. Worked, that's where the real fun began. It should be said, and this applies to the whole series, Super Smash Bros. Is a game that is best enjoyed with friends and family. The creative team saw and realized there were 4 controller ports and put them to good use. Computer opponents offer a challenge, and every game has single player options to keep that lone individual entertained, but the human dynamic is what makes multiplayer Smash truly shine. I did get some kicks out of single player though, not to say it didn't offer some fun, and I think it was the only way to unlock the 4 extra fighters: Luigi, Jigglypuff, this guy, and this kid. Yeah, I didn't know who these 2 were when I first played Smash Bros., and I didn't realize who they were until I looked up their character biographies. Captain Falcon from F-Zero, a series I was familiar with at this point, and Ness from Earthbound. I thought to myself, what the fuck was an Earthbound? And would you know, to this day, I still don't have a solid opinion on the mother series? Perhaps in the future. I never liked how one-player mode always had you face the same opponents in the same order. It would always begin with you facing against Link, there was a bout against a giant Donkey Kong, and near the end a one-on-one match against Metal Mario, who could take a beating but wasn't very bright. All this was capped off with a fight against the big boss of the game, Master Hand. Yeah, a giant hand. You see, all these fighters are not just your favorite Nintendo characters, but they're also figurines brought to life. It's like the Indian in the cupboard, only with Nintendo characters. So in a way you can say Master Hand represents a kid playing with his toys, but I certainly don't remember my toys ever coming to life to fuck shit up. Think about the collateral damage. Break the Targets was a fun minigame. These will always change depending on the character you were using, and they could also teach you how to properly use techniques for either reaching different places or how to get the most out of it. The same goes for Board the Platforms, but not as much. Your acrobatics are put to the test, but they never left as much of an impression for me. I realize in essence they're the same. I Guess I just like the sound of breaking targets more than landing on a platform. While we're on the sound direction, can I just say that if there's one thing I look for in a fighting game or anything that involves clobbering something, it's the sound I make when I connect a hit. It was one of the immediate aesthetics that stuck out to me when I played Smash 64. It's like all of my opponents were bowling pins and I was the bowling ball. Explosions sounded extra crunchy, and nothing was ever more satisfying than landing a direct hit with the home run bat. And he's out of here! I remember when I couldn't visit my cousin's house to play the game, I went and found an emulator and ROM just to continue my smashing adventure. I didn't care that I was stuck using a keyboard, I just wanted to keep playing. Ironically, Smash 64 was where I had the most single player time. I was restricted on how I could access the game. I didn't have many friends that lived close to me, and the only other person I could play against was my brother Mark, who wasn't keen on the idea of playing Smash on a computer. By the time I had my own N64 and copy of the game, the next entry in the lineup was already out, and my attention was solely on that game. Before that, I just wanted to say that Smash 64 did great in showing me how Super Smash Bros. Worked. For the time, the game treated me with colorful visuals, I loved the little details every stage had, and the remixed music helped liven up things. With what we have now, I don't feel there's any point in going back besides curiosity and to see how things started. It's on the Virtual Console now for $10, you can get it that way if you want, but I recommend going all the way for that authentic feeling. I'm crazy about that sort of shit when the budget allows for it. And now for Super Smash Bros. Melee. Here it is, the game I have spent the most time on ever. There wasn't an eye-catching commercial like its 64-bit counterpart, but I was internet savvy at the time, and when I loaded up the title's website, the first thing that caught my eye were the graphics. The jump from the N64 to the GameCube was staggering, and I was drooling with anticipation. God, 2002 was such a painful year. I was in high school hearing everyone else talk about how awesome Super Smash Bros. Melee was, and here I am desperately saving up for a GameCube. One Christmas and 2 birthdays later, and there it was finally. I got the game along with Metroid Prime, 4 controllers, and a memory card. That was the best weekend of my teenage life, bar none. I made sure to attend my studies and household chores, of course, but every minute where I wasn't doing that or sleeping, I was playing Melee. Everything felt better. It wasn't just the graphics and sound that got a boost. The gameplay was faster, more frantic. There were more ways to counterattack, additional moves were given to characters both old and new, and while we're on that subject, more characters. You can finally get Princess Peach to defend herself from Bowser. She's one of my personal favorites in Melee, actually. I didn't know who the Ice Climbers and Mr. Game & Watch were, but I didn't care as I was willing to try them all out, and sure enough, one of the greatest memories I have with Melee is unlocking the other fighters and arenas. Mewtwo, I am looking at you, dude. A total of 20 hours playtime between all players required? Let me just plug in 4 controllers and leave the game running for 5 hours and come back after I wake up. That was certainly interesting. I'll never forget the pain that was unlocking the retro Congo jungle stage. You had to survive the entirety of the 15-minute multi-man melee, a mode where the only thing you needed to do was rack up as many knockouts as you could without falling off yourself. I know I'm not the only one who did this. Donkey Kong, center stage, down B. His ground pound wiped out the wire fighters no problem, but eventually you start taking pot shots, those build up, and then all it takes is a random bob-omb or exploding capsule item to materialize right in your face, and then BAM! All that for nothing. Fuck me, I hated that. But once I unlocked all the characters and got all the stages and you were greeted by that fantastic alternate menu thing to prove that you did, I felt like I really accomplished something. Melee brought plenty of new places to fight. The gargantuan Hyrule Temple was where many would go to rack up the percentages to outrageous numbers and then keep going because the stage was just that big. Pokefloats had everyone battle atop giant Pokemon balloons from Generation 1 and 2, but when you had a personal vendetta against someone, you took their ass to Battlefield or Final Destination. There was no obstacles, just you and your opponent. There were more things for the one player to do as well. Classic mode was brought back, but it wasn't set like in Smash 64, it was more randomized and kept things fresh. There was an adventure mode that emphasized the platforming nature on Smash Bros. Mechanics, as well as paying homage to many of Nintendo's major characters. I always jumped for joy when I found the Triforce on my first try in the Zelda-based stage, but I knew how to take measures to avoid the Link battles in case I found the second or third Master Sword in a row. When I encountered Giga Bowser for the first time, my pants were nearly shat. I already played adventure mode for a few times beforehand, and it always ended with a match against Bowser, but then this freakish thing suddenly appears, and here I am wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? You fought him alongside Ganondorf and Mewtwo in the final match in event mode, another single player option that places you in different situations with alternate win conditions. I had a lot of fun in this mode. Some of the challenges were so off the wall I couldn't help but smile at them. But the trophy tussles could kiss my ass. The AI always ganged up on you in these events. This match right here felt impossible with anyone else besides Ganondorf. I love him in this game. As you can see, there was more incentive to playing single player, and if getting more bang for your buck wasn't enough, there were also trophies. They added nothing to the game, they existed solely as collectibles to show off to your friends, but that didn't matter, you wanted to collect them all anyway. They were everywhere and I pounced at every opportunity to grab them, whether they were lying around in all-star mode, crashing into one after smacking sandbag with a bat in the home run contest, or using my hard-earned coins from other modes to purchase them in the lottery. The best part out of all of this though, if you were to ask me, was the fact that I now had my brother Mark, my young brother Elliot, and my best friend Matt to play alongside with, and for years we did just that. It bears repeating, local multiplayer is where Smash Bros. Explodes in quality. We played many multiplayer games during our younger times, Mario Party and the like, but we always knew that we can go back to Melee for a rip-roaring great time. During college and a few other local events, I participated in Melee tournaments and it was so much fun throughout. Everyone was having a great time and many laughs were had. I even won a college local with my roommate and best friend Jacob. We wore our Princess Peach and Ganondorf badges proudly that night. You want an example of how much of an impact Melee left on people, you check out the tournament scene. Melee is one of the greatest games I have ever experienced, from what it improved from the original game, the new things it brought, and the memories it left me. From this point, every subsequent Smash Bros. Game only changed the very foundation in very small, almost entirely negligible increments. It was now a matter of what that specific Smash Bros. Game had that the other games in the franchise didn't. 2006, post E3, Super Smash Bros. Brawl was announced for the Nintendo Wii. My hype thrusters were set to max, and after the end of the trailer, my thrusters were sent to overdrive. Holy shit, it's Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid! What could this mean? Are they letting third-party characters join in suddenly? Oh, the possibilities. Sonic. Oh fuck, you gotta have Sonic in there. He was Mario's rival during the 16-bit console wars. Ah, there he is! The thrusters finally detonated. Just waiting for the damn game was an experience in of itself. Not helping things was the Smash Bros. Dojo, you all remember this, right? It was the official Smash Bros. Website that once per day, Monday through Friday, will release bits and pieces of information regarding the new game, from new items, new stages, and most importantly, new characters. And every night I would find myself feverishly hitting F5 on the keyboard until the website finally updated, which was usually around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for people on the East Coast. The updates were based on Japan's time zone. But I didn't care, damn it, nor did a lot of other people. The discussions were abundant. Everyone always had something to say about this or that, who's going to be in it, who's not going to be in it. The game was delayed a total of 2 times, further adding fuel to the fire. It was a madhouse. But it was a great time to be a Nintendo fan during the build-up. I went to my first ever midnight release for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. When you and a whole bunch of others are excited for an upcoming game, going to a midnight event is like going to a carnival. I recommend it, it's pretty cool. The Subspace Emissary was one of the drawing points for Brawl, a story mode where you controlled your favorite characters as the plot progressed, complete with CGI cutscenes and more fan service than what was already included. It was like adventure mode from Melee on steroids. I spent my first 12 hours on this mode. I wanted to see how the story fleshed out, despite it never really doing so. It was more of a hodgepodge of subplots with no real connecting threads. But it was the best way to unlock all the characters without doing something very specific or running off the stage like a dumbass 450 times in versus mode. This mode was alright at best. I didn't feel the need to go back to it after one playthrough. The enemy selection was lacking, giving greater emphasis on these original, forgettable creations, rather than Nintendo-themed villains, with boss battles being the exception. These were great, it's too bad the rest of the game doesn't follow suit. The sticker system that give your character stat boosts felt pointless. I only ever bothered collecting them for my sticker collection. I just don't feel Smash Bros. Excels as a beat-em-up platformer that lasts around 10 hours. However, it was only one of the many things that Brawl offered. Everything Melee introduced was brought back and then some, including even more characters at the cost of Mewtwo, Dr. Mario, Pichu, Young Link, and Roy. Sorry fellas. A huge number of stages were available, and we got final smashes, glowing balls of death that allowed the lucky grabber to unleash their super attack. The entire game changed when it appeared. The fight went from a battle to the death to, get it! Get it! Get the Smash Ball! Yeah, got it! That also applied to CDs for unlocking more music for other stages. I can't show that off because, well, I already collected all of them on this save file. I messed around with the new stage builder for a number of hours. The ability to create your own funhouse of pain, and funhouses of pain I made. You were kinda limited on complexity, stages were restricted to grids, so being organic was out of the question. Brawl still had loads of stages to choose from. I didn't really mind that I couldn't go nuts with this feature. Raise your hand if you made a Tetris stage. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew Brawl was going to bring the fun with my friends and family, and it sure did, but damn if I wasn't excited for the online connectivity. I can't show it off anymore because of Nintendo's Wi-Fi service being no longer available for the Wii, but trust me on this, you weren't missing a goddamn thing. 6 out of 8 times the match would be plagued with input lag, slowdown, or god forbid freezing that didn't move an inch, sometimes upwards to 2 minutes. You can't play Smash Bros. Properly with lag. No sir, you cannot. The online was a lovely idea on paper, but it put out a horrendous performance. Brawl had a lot to live up to, and there's still a part of me that believes that Melee did the job slightly better when it came to fighting mechanics, more so in the battle speed department. But I would be a total dickwad if I allowed that preference to interfere with the quality of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It's positively oozing with everything that represents the juggernaut that is Nintendo. For fuck's sake, the entire soundtrack of the game is over 300 songs of delicious remixes and original themes. If all of that didn't tickle your fancy, you can easily mod the damn game to play more like Melee with Project M. I won't say much other than it's a great mod, check it out, have at it. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can learn about what it does for yourself. That just leaves us with the latest games in the bunch. Yep, 2 games this time. Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS and Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Wii U. I kind of wish the names were a bit better, but I'm okay with calling them Smash 4. Last year, E3 brought us what we all wanted to hear, the announcement and trailer for the next Smash Bros. Game. Oh, but wait a second, it wasn't just that the Wii U was getting an installment, that Mega Man and eventually Pac-Man were going to join the cast, and that the game was going HD, the 3DS was getting some love too. A handheld Smash Bros. Game, that's awesome. Once again, my hype levels were through the roof, but the wait wasn't as painful as Brawl, and I had this channel and the many jokes and discussions created by the Smash community to thank for that. At first, I was a little worrisome, but they managed to bring the 4-player star-studded Slamfest perfectly into the handheld. There's no better way to describe it other than it being Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 3DS. It's not filled to the brim with as much content as Brawl, but the 60 frame per second action is all here with all the bells and whistles, the cast of characters is humongous, and it looks great for the 3DS. On both versions, you can now create your own fighters with Miis. I thought this was something you should have been able to do in Brawl, as Miis made their debut on the Nintendo Wii, but better late than never, I guess. You're limited to 3 fighter classes, a brawler, a sword fighter, and a gunner, each bringing different strategies, and I'm a bit bummed by that limitation, but seeing yourself in Smash Bros. Action or any other character you can create is undeniably charming, and for some it's a great way to show off how immature they can be. Customization can also apply to the other fighters as well now. During your trips through single player, whether it be Classic Mode, All-Star, or one of the many returning Stadium minigames, you can score some status upgrades that you can equip to your fighter in order to make them more offensive, defensive, or speed-oriented. Upgrading one stat affects another, so you can't make your character an all-out god, just good in one specific area. There are also brand new moves you can discover that you can use to make your Mario stand out from someone else's Mario. Customizable movesets sounded great, but here's why I don't really care about it. Getting custom moves is completely random, and what custom moves you get is also completely random. There's over 50 characters available, do the math. These customization options are also not allowed online. You're stuck with utilizing everyone's default moveset, same as it ever was, making it very hard for me to care after the fact. These things are on the back of my mind when playing the game. If I can get them, that's great. I'll give them a shot in some local matches, but I'm okay with using what I've been familiar with for a long time now. If you own both versions, you can transfer Miis and customize characters between the two systems, but whatever they're equipped with is locked to that fighter, so I hope you weren't thinking you can transfer status buffs and custom moves individually. Make that another reason why I generally don't care about all that. I suppose it doesn't really hurt to have them there in the first place though. Online has been substantially improved on both versions. I still get a bit of lag every now and then, and once in a blue moon it's pretty miserable. Most of the time though, it's 1-to-1 precision, and I'm so fucking relieved to say that. I don't mean to continuously harp on Brawl's horrible online, but Jesus Christ. Smash Run is a brand new mode exclusive to the 3DS version of the game. You're placed inside this humongous area, and for 5 minutes you have to destroy any enemies you encounter, collecting money and other prizes as well as these status buffs until you're a super powerful god of destruction. Then after the 5 minutes are up, you're pitted against the other souped up participants in either an old-fashioned Smash fight, or something like racing to the finish. It's random, which I wish wasn't the case. Smash Run is a fun little pastime, but it screams, "You will remember the Subspace Emissary, damn it! Love it as it loved you!" You know, I kind of like this more than the Subspace Emissary, actually. It's a hell of a lot shorter for starters, the enemy variation is much greater, the custom power-ups you can earn and equip add some extra spice to your arsenal of abilities, and it's good to punch a Kremlin in the face and be rewarded for doing so. It's not a game seller, that's for sure, that's what multiplayer is for, and it's better than Smash Tour on the Wii U version. I'm sorry for jumping around like this, but I really didn't like this mode. You play this board game and watch stuff happen, I think? I had no idea what I was doing except when it came to activating fights. Even with the little tutorial panels given to you before the game started, learning the game felt unintuitive. I still managed to somehow win the board game, which left me even more confused. I'm sorry about that. Back to Smash 3DS. I gotta say, while it's great for on-the-go Smash Brothers, I think it lost something in accessible local multiplayer. It's still there, don't misunderstand me, but when you wanted to play some Smash Brothers with friends, all you needed was one system, one copy of the game, and up to 4 controllers. Now everyone needs their own 3DS and their own copy of the game, an unfortunate consequence of being published on a handheld. I mean, hey, that's how Pokemon has rolled since the beginning, people can adapt, but I found it a little off-putting. With Smash 4 finally released on the Wii U, that issue was somewhat mitigated. Smash Bros. 3DS did a superb job filling the black void in my heart, and I know it'll still get some great use when I go to conventions or need something to play on the train ride across the state. But Smash 4 on the Wii U was what I was really waiting for, and my god, it's so beautiful! The bold colors, the higher polygon count, the added visual flares, it's so extravagant, it's so Nintendo! It's so Smash Brothers, baby! I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but allow me to grind it to dust. Content-wise, it's filled to bursting once more. Familiar single-player modes return and new ones arise to help you score prizes, prize money, and trophies, if you're willing to take the risk. I don't know why I find the sight of Master Hand giving me a thumbs up when I complete a challenge funny. I'm very easy to entertain. Stage Builder was given more fleshed out properties. You're only limited by your imagination now since you can make oodles and oodles of shapes with the Wii U gamepad. And well, as you can see, I'm a very unimaginative man. It's fun seeing the AI having no idea how to traverse through this mess of a stage. I guess I should spend a minute on these new Amiibo figures, thanks Nintendo. I totally didn't need another reason to give you guys more of my money. Amiibos can be used in Smash 4 as fighters you can level up and train to become more efficient and a pit against other players or Amiibos. Almost like a legalized kid-friendly version of Cockfight. Oh, wait a minute. It's like your own personal pet, I think that's a good way of putting it, and you can even give it a nickname. It's totally superfluous, it's in no way needed to fully enjoy what Smash 4 already offers, but I won't lie and say it wasn't a novel idea for Smash Brothers. Come on, Samus, I'll make you the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy yet. Let's start with taking a punch. Okay, shake it off, shake it off. The best and most important part about Smash is back, of course, and it's like they hit a compromise between Brawl and Melee in terms of fighting speed. It's the best of both worlds, and it feels great. They even made a GameCube adapter for the Wii U. This controller shall never die! I want to see how long they can keep this beautiful little thing alive. Viva the GameCube! I love the new selection of stages. Shoutouts to Orbital Gate from Star Fox Assault. It's so cool to see in motion. Seeing other stages from older games getting the HD treatment is awesome as well. Look how far we've come. It's dumbfounding. Now you can have up to 8 participants for local Smash battles. 8 players! That's the very definition of chaos. Can you even tell what's going on here? It's a totally different game. And Classic Mode loves to throw these at you from time to time. It's great on lower difficulties because you're getting a bunch of fighters out of the way at once, but it's not so fun when you jack that intensity up and just want to reach the final battle with Master Hand without getting a game over and losing rewards. On that subject, the Wii U version has an added form of the Master Core boss battle introduced in the 3DS version after finishing off Master Hand on higher difficulties. And again, it's like they really don't want me to forget the Subspace Emissary. Cut it out, guys. I just want to clear the game and get my damn trophy. Honestly, what else more can I say? Super Smash Bros. 4 continues to deliver that colorful, explosive, heart-stopping gameplay that I fell in love with since the original on the Nintendo 64. Look, I don't know if this hefty video has clued you in or not, but I love Super Smash Bros. And I have given you my reasons why. I cannot recommend it enough to anyone out there who has yet to try it out. Doubly so if you have a group of friends who have every reason to try it out as much as you do. It's been a killer app for Nintendo consoles for years, and for a damn good reason. This, in my opinion, is the go-to title for the holidays this year. I know Nintendo enthusiasts already bought the game, I know lovers of Smash Bros. Already bought the game. Parents, if your kids have a Wii U, get them Smash Bros. They'll love it, and they'll love you. I gotta end this video. I got more smashing to do, the thing I've been spending nearly half an hour talking about. And you can bet when that tournament mode goes live for the Wii U version, we're gonna do some community nights so we can smash with each other or against each other. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. I wish you all a happy smashing. Thank you for watching, have yourselves a great night, and take care.